It's clean-up time. Wall Street crawls back to work following Superstorm Sandy, which crippled transport, knocked out power and killed at least 50 people in 9 US states. President Barack Obama gets back on the campaign trail today after touring a shattered New Jersey on Wednesday. The images of Obama on the ground, some newspapers claim, could be a defining moment in the race for the White House. But the latest polls suggest Mitt Romney is now ahead in 3 swing states. US regulators give Barclays 30 days to explain why it shouldn't pay a record $470 million to settle allegations it manipulated California electricity markets. That's just weeks after it was fined a similar amount for rigging LIBOR. Lloyds Banking Group dragged into a third-quarter loss after taking a £1 billion hit to compensate customers missold loan insurance. Other earnings out this morning include oil major Shell, the world's second biggest oil company, suffering a 15% fall in current cost of supply in Q3 as lower crude prices overshadowed stronger margins in refining. And Glencore seeing a boost to its marketing operations, boosted by trading in agriculture and metals. That follows the EU's decision to extend the review of the group's $33 billion bid for minor extrata to November the 22nd. Well, let's get some analysis on these numbers now with Manoj Ladwa. He's senior trader at TJ Markets and joins us from the London Stock Exchange. Manoj, another wave of Q3 earnings today, of course, and another big net loss for a British bank, this time Lloyds.
Yeah, absolutely. The situation for the banks just seems to go from bad to worse. You would have thought that things would have been a line would have been drawn, especially after the LIBOR selling scandal or the LIBOR issue. Barclays rallied from all the way from 150 up to where it is now. It had issues coming out yesterday in Lloyds. This morning, a further £1 billion with regards to mis-selling, the PPI mis-selling scandal. That's going to weigh on the share price. They've had a good run in the last few weeks or so, but you could probably see the banks, which are high beta stocks and responsible for a large amount of the move that the FTSE 100 would make, coming back down over the next few days or so. Do
you think the banks are going to have to set aside more for these claims?
I think potentially they will have to. I mean, Lloyds is set aside £5.3 billion already, and until it's all out in the open and it's all been done and dusted, they're going to have to make further provisions.
But it's not been all bad news on the earnings front, right?
No, absolutely not. A number of companies have reported relatively well. We've got BSkyB that have reported well today. Even the likes of Shell, certainly after the way the BG reported yesterday, you would have expected a bigger move to the downside with the way Shell reported this morning, but it's only been called down around about a couple of percent this morning as well. So overall, earnings in the UK have been relatively mixed with a slightly positive bias, but then expectations going into this earnings season were relatively low anyway, so we're moving up from a low base. You'd expect companies to report much better. They haven't really, so that's why we're seeing this malaise in the equity market over the last few days.
Finally, Manoj, and if you can, it seems like companies are maintaining margins only because they're laying off thousands of employees. Surely you can only cut fat so much before you slice into the bone, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you can only carry on cutting costs for so long. You need to see top-line growth, and that's where lots of companies seem to be falling down at the moment. They carry on cutting costs, but that only adds to the bottom-line profit for a certain period of time. You need to see top-line growth. OK, Manoj, thank you very much. Well, a divisive start to bargaining over the €1 trillion EU budget. UK Prime Minister David Cameron suffered a humiliating defeat in Parliament last night. Rebels in his own party joined forces with Labour to demand that he push for cuts in EU spending.
The ayes to the right, 307. The noes to the left, 294. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
France, meanwhile, threatening to use its veto. France's EU Affairs Minister Bernard Cazeneuve is seeking support from Germany, Spain and Italy to protect the bloc's agriculture spending. The trial of the Greek journalist who published the names of 2,000 wealthy Greeks with Swiss bank accounts kicks off today. Kostas Vaxivanis, editor of the Hot Doc Weekly magazine, was arrested for publishing the names and violating privacy laws. And in Asia, big Asian economies showing signs of a pickup. China's economy finally regaining some traction, official and private sector factory surveys showed today. Tara Joseph joins us in Hong Kong. Tara, not fantastic PMI numbers from China, but you've got to start somewhere, right?
That's right, Jamie. Actually, they're pretty good. 50.2 for the official PMI for October, so above that level of contraction. And what economists say is, yeah, we are starting to see a parting of the clouds in terms of the economy, maybe even bottoming out, though they are warning, do not get too excited yet. We need to see some more good numbers throughout the areas of the economy. So the official PMI, quite good. We also had the PMI survey from HSBC, which tends to measure the smaller and private firms in China. That looked pretty good as well. It was near 50, showing that things are looking better. And of course, this is all good news ahead of the Party Congress next week, the big leadership transition. So I guess Chinese leaders must be feeling a bit happier today.
Now that's handy. How does the rest of Asia look? Because we've had some countries being forced to cut interest rates, so it's not all good, is it?
Yeah, well, it seems that those interest rate cuts are actually starting to seep through. We've had a bit of good news from around the region. South Korean exports ticking up for the first time in 4 months. We had a very good PMI survey out of India as well, showing that things are brightening a bit there. Not so good in Taiwan in the latest PMI survey. But all in all, we are starting to see patchy signs of things getting better. And one thing that economists do agree on is the fact that actually stimulus and also interest rate cuts are actually starting to feed through.
OK, Tara, thank you very much. Well, that's it for now. I'll leave you with our pick of the day. Mario Draghi, President, of course, of the European Central Bank, who begins his second year in office today. If the second year is anything like his first, it promises to be a roller coaster ride for the man widely dubbed Super Mario. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.